Well, welcome back for those of you who've stuck around for the last 9 months I've been gone. I meant to upload part 2 pretty soon after I uploaded part 1, but clearly that didn't go to plan. Uni ended up getting in the way. It was the final year of my master's degree, but now that's all out of the way. Done and graduated, finished with uni, and I'm actually in my chosen industry now, working full time. But the plan is to actually start making videos again. It was never a plan to stop, but it sort of just happened. Life got in the way as it does, but definitely keen to get back onto it and definitely keen to take more photos. But in the meantime, between taking new videos and now, I think I have about 5 or 6 videos of backlog from last year. The trip in this video actually took place back in March of last year. And here I am in March of this year still editing the video, and hopefully it'll be uploaded in the next few days. That's the plan at least, but it feels great to be getting back onto it, and I'm definitely keen to make more videos in the future. So without further ado, sorry for the long wait guys, but I hope you enjoy the video. Well, welcome back to the second part, guys. I promised you sand dunes, and I have definitely delivered. Just took up the drone, and it is looking absolutely amazing here. Our good friend Dale, who we met up with, has given some good advice to us on finding a good entry spot to the dunes, and they are absolutely massive. Just check this out here. Even just these patterns in the sand are amazing, and just all around, just massive dunes. But the best part about this is that you can do this whole thing barefoot. The sand is perfect temperature, but it's still a bit of a struggle to get up. But I reckon for the day, the winning methodology is probably just gonna have the 100 to 400 on. Might even bring it into infrared, see how that goes, but for the time being, gonna go with visible light and see what we can capture. Alrighty guys, just walked a bit of a distance. Julian's sassy as usual, you know how he is. And I've came across our first shot for this one. I've been trying to think this whole drive, the last 4 hours driving to this spot, how in the world I'm gonna make a video when I'm shooting everything handheld, the 100 to 400 millimeter, super heavy in one hand, and this camera in my other. So I'm thinking the way that I'm gonna do this is I'm just gonna flip the camera around, point out what I'm gonna shoot, then I'll put the camera down, capture it, and then you guys can see what it is, because it's just, I can't hold both at the same time. But pretty much what we're working with here, I'll flip you around and show you. So what I'm looking at in front of me is this nice ridge in the sand that we have going here, where it creates just that nice curving shape. And I reckon I'm gonna cut off the frame about here, have this one just a little bit of a distance away from the right side of the frame, probably pretty representative of what you're seeing now, and you just have this sweeping line here passing into the bottom left of your frame. I think the geometric form of that just works so nice when it swerves back and then does a little squiggle going off in the distance. And we're gonna keep that top part out of it. And as for editing, I'm sort of envisioning like a high contrast thing where the lights are really bright golden and the shadows have a nice dark texture to them. Don't know how well that's gonna work because at the moment, it's still pretty early in the day, so the sun's coming down directly on us. So it's not the best for those sort of high contrast edits, but we'll do what we can. We'll try and get that to work. But we have, don't know exactly, but somewhere around 4 or so hours of potential shots that we can be getting. So there's plenty more to come in this video, guys. I really hope you enjoy this because I've been looking forward to this for months. Dale's gonna demonstrate here his professional sandboarding technique. I wasn't expecting this kind of content today, but it's always a bit of fun. There he goes. There he goes.
Oh, that's horrible. At least it's lightweight.
It's okay though, that moment is going to be immortalized on YouTube. Alrighty guys, we were just moving down the dunes to check out an old dead tree that's behind me here, but I looked to my left and both me and Julian spotted at the same time. I, of course, already having my camera here, rushed to take it, and I snap it first. He just took his first photo of it, so technically I spotted this first. But I'll flip it around for you guys and I'll show you what it is because it's a cool coincidence of conditions and geometry. But hopefully you can see it there. Where is it? Should be able to see it. I think it's right around there. I can barely see the screen on the Osmo, but you have this nice cloud that's right between two wedges, right between two ridges of the dunes. And it's just perfectly positioned so it's not touching either side.
Not anymore.
And yeah, it's already dissipating now. Luckily I've already got the shot, so there's no stress in this one. With that being said, I'll put that shot up for you guys. Hopefully got a good representation out of it from my dodgy compositional explanation. Even as I'm looking now, the cloud is almost completely dissipated. Wow. The cloud is pretty much gone now. The shot's not there anymore. And that was in the frame of about 2 minutes that was there. So good find on my part. So now we're recording. I just did a whole piece to camera about that town that we just walked through right behind me. So I'll go ahead and do it again because I forgot to hit record on the camera, but I recorded the audio on my Zoom H1N. So that's just a fun thing. But pretty much the area that we just passed through, you'd see it looked sort of run down and old. And the strange thing about it is it's a grouping of about 4 houses just in the middle of the sand dunes. So the place is called Tin City, and it was originally established in the 1920s. By a group of homeless people who pretty much wanted to get away from the city and build their own houses in the dunes. And the area is sort of established on a 100-year land lease. Technically, the houses are not owned, but they're privately occupied and they were passed down through families. So there are actually still people living in that town today. And theoretically, if they are the rightful owners or occupiers of those houses, they'd be related to those people from the 1920s. And the houses themselves are on a 100-year lease. So technically, since that was signed in the 1920s, those houses back there are 3 years up on their lease. So who knows what's going on with that situation. I mean, just looking at them as we passed through, it looked sort of run down and abandoned. But just an interesting piece of history in the middle of the Stockton sand dunes. Totally didn't expect to find that, but Dale pretty much explained the history to me of this spot, and it's pretty interesting. But anyway, we'll get back to the photography because it's starting to get a bit nicer in the dunes behind me. The sun's sort of coming down towards the horizon. We're getting a little bit of sidelight on them now, so it's creating more definition to our scenes. So we'll keep on pressing on north and we'll see if we can find some more interesting shots. Alrighty guys, just spotted another composition. We've done a bit of a change up with this one. I've put the infrared filter on full spectrum camera, and we're going to be capturing this scene in infrared. And I found out that infrared in the sand dunes looks amazing. Amazing. So the sand dunes are this ghostly white and the sky is just jet black. This contrast is so amazing. And I'll show you what I'm working with here. It's a pretty out there shot, but it's a nice start for infrared. Might go back to full spec, or might go back to visible light a bit later when the light improves, but for now, we'll go ahead and capture this shot here. So the one that we're working with is right off in the distance there. It's just the peak of that sand dune off in the distance. I used to have these 3 layers of bright light and ridge lines. And then on top of that, we're gonna have that black sky. Honestly, can't really go much more into explaining that because it's such a wide angle lens in this Osmo, but we're really zooming into this tiny area here. With the crop factor, this 400 is becoming a 600 millimeter lens, so we're really zooming in there. So, I mean, there's nothing left to do except go ahead and take that shot. So I'll take the shot now and I'll put it up for you guys and let me know what you think. Alrighty guys, got one more shot lined up for you. Another one with the infrared camera right here. We're probably zooming into about 400 millimeters, I'd say. But what we're focusing on is just over there. There's this nice curving pattern in the sand. I feel like I've said that for a few of my shots already. But the nice part about this one is we have that curving pattern going up to the frame, and then we're gonna have a sharp contrast of the black sky over it. And I think it's gonna look really nice if we crop it into a square format. So I'll show you what I'm working with here and hopefully you guys agree. So what we're working with, hopefully I can point it out, right here is you have that nice little curve right here in the sand, and then you have the sky above it. But we're gonna frame it up super zoomed in on that curve right there, showing just a bit of the sky over top of it. So we're probably gonna have 2/3 of the frame with this bottom white sand in the infrared. Then we're gonna have the black sky over it with a super sharp contrast. And that's pretty much what I have in my mind for this one. We might go a bit different with it, but at the moment, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna grab this camera, go ahead and capture the shot, and hopefully you guys like it. Put it up for you and let me know what you think. So we just spotted another composition, guys. We started heading towards the tree line or from where the beach is, get back on top of the dunes, try and capture some more shots from the top. The sun's still going down, so we're getting better and better light as the day goes on. But I've come across this really nice, interesting play of light on the dunes in front of me right this way. And what's so cool about this is how you have this wet patch where it has rained, and that area of the sand has sort of dried up and then fallen down with its own weight, creating these wonderful patterns in the side of the dune. And they're just catching the light from the sun, which is just up there, so it's just glancing off the top of them and creating some amazing shadows. And just over the top, you won't be able to see here, but there's some animal tracks which are leading down into that. So you sort of have a nice triangle of animal tracks on the left leading into the scene, and then just you have this dark line of contrast with little glimmers of light lighting up the ridges of that. So this is another one of those zoomed in shots. Those boys over there are probably already getting something similar, but we're doing this one in infrared. We're gonna zoom right in on that area right there, capture the image, and I'll put it up for you guys to look at right now. Then we'll keep pressing on forward because we still have another hour and 40 minutes until the sun goes down, so we have plenty of time.
It's like 3/4 of the way there.
So we decided to take a little bit of a rest from the sun because it was getting a bit toasty for us, and the light was slowly improving, but thought it might be a good idea to have a sit down for a while. So we've been relaxing just over there behind me for about 20 minutes or so, I'd say, and we've just been watching this light get better and better. I'm telling you guys, this is going to be a great video because, just flip it around, I'll show you what's right in front of me right now. I've already taken a few photos of it myself, so I might even put those up somewhere around here maybe. This is what we got here, just these beautiful patterns in the sides of the sand. And they're just contrasted so nicely because these ones almost look like liquid dripping down from the dunes. Then you have the rippling of the sand passing up into them. Just wonderful stuff. So what I really liked about this, you can see Julian's already went in and ruined it like he does. Typical Julian. But what's nice about this is we have these patterns in the sand, the windswept patterns, which just go up here, and just as the dune starts curving up, these patterns curve up with it. So in the scene you have this nice curving shape of the patterns going up, but there's also this gap of untextured area right here between the pattern here and what looks like the falling sand here, where it's just plain and there's no pattern. So you have a really nice contrast to these vertical elements with a plain background and then these just almost dripping patterns of sand coming down. And just with the side light of the sun passing down on the scene, it creates such a nice depth to it and really makes these elements pop. Like you can even see here how they look just so 3D and rich. So super happy with that scene. I'll put it up for you guys to take a look and yeah, let me know what you think. The boys are already heading off over on the horizon that way. So I reckon I'm gonna go and join them. Just spotted another composition off in the distance, guys. Another one with 100 to 400. Might have forgot to mention, I've switched to the normal visible light A7R4 camera for now. Might go back to infrared a little bit later. I've got the wide angle lens on it in the bag, so if anything we'll break it out for some wide angle images, but for now I'm happy with the normal light camera. But I'll show you what I'm working with here. We just got this nice interplay of light and shadow. Right off in the distance there, it's that little ridge line going across, and then behind it we have one that's actually in light. So we have shadow, light, and then there's a little bit of the blue sky as well in top of the frame, and even a little bit of the ocean that's sort of poking in. And the way that I'm trying to compose this is I'm really just zooming in and I'm getting just this segment of the frame, and I'm getting the point right there where those two ridges meet on the right hand side of the frame, not touching the edge but very close to it. So you sort of have this triangular shape moving out. And I might even have a little bit of a play with that, where I'll take the image and I'll rotate it in post so that it's a vertical format. And it might create some really nice, interesting lines going down in either direction with light in the middle. Could be really cool, could not be, but we're just having some fun with it, doing a little bit of abstract photography, get a little light on my face. So we'll go ahead, we'll capture that image, and yeah, let me know what you guys think. I did that whole piece to camera once again without pressing the record button. Luckily that wasn't a long one, so I'll go through it again for you guys. Been inspired by Dale. He was taking a nice photo here with a leading line of the dune, nice texture around it and all that wonderful stuff. Flip the camera around and I'll show you what I mean. He's over there taking his photo. He's doing a vertical composition. I'm not stealing his. I'm doing something a bit different. Put the wide angle lens on my R4. And we're just getting this nice sweeping line of the dune as it passes across, and we're finishing the shot about here. And there's just some lovely texture on these faces right along here. So we're capturing that as well as the line of this dune leading you through the scene. And good old Julian's right up there. Luckily he's not ruining any of our shots. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to frame up. No tripod necessary for me. I'm a little bit too lazy for that. We'll cut off all this stuff on the bottom. Go ahead and capture that image and let me know what you guys think. So it's really time to get a move on now, guys. The sun is coming down and we don't have much more light left. After that, we'll get a little bit of blue hour action, but maybe that's one or two shots. So I'm a little bit out of breath. I've had quite a bit of a hurry to get over to this spot because I came to the realization, I was over with Julian, where's my hand? Around that ridge line there. And I came to the realization that the direction that I was walking, we'd already walked all over, so I wouldn't be getting any good shots. So I had to rush over this way to this part of the dunes because we haven't actually walked on this area. It's the only spot that I'll be getting nice and clean images without footprints. So I've already got a scene framed up, well, one that I've already captured, but I'll show you what I was working with and how I captured it. But, oh, I'm out of breath, guys. So I'll show you the scene that I'm working with, guys. And what we got here is just in front of Dale right there is this nice little band of light on the ridge that he's actually shooting. And on top of that, there's a little bit more of light showing on a ridge line just past it. And it's creating this really nice contrast on that back ridge line between light and shadow, where similar to the previous shot that I had, sand had fallen down and it's created this really nice streaking pattern. So we're capturing that as well as the textures of the sand on the first dune. And overall, probably going to do it as a 1x2, just get this tiny area here. Hopefully no sky, maybe some sky, but I think I'm going to try and cut it all out. And besides that, I'll put up the image for you guys, and yeah, let me know what you think. I'm going to rush this way and try and capture some more images. So I've done a little bit of an emergency change of lens. We've got onto a wide angle because the sun did something I didn't expect. There were some clouds on the horizon that were going to block the sunset and it went under those. And now we're in this little limbo zone where it's not sunset yet, but the clouds have completely obscured the sun. So we have this really nice, really nice diffused light hitting the tops of all of the dunes. And I think it is the perfect time to break out the wide angle lens. We're not even going to worry about footprints or anything. We'll just clone them out in post and we'll try and capture some images before the sun sets. So we're going to get right to it and see what we can find. Might be grasping at straws here, guys, but got the wide angle lens on. I'm looking back to where Julian and Dale are at the moment, and I'm just going to capture this square image of the dunes around where they are. So I'll show you what I'm working with because I'm very out of breath. Very out of breath. It really takes you out of you walking up these dunes. It's like you step in and then your foot sinks halfway in, you have to pull it back out. It's awful. But the dunes are amazing. So what we're working with here is just these layered dunes that have the nice bouncing light passing off the tips of them. Beautiful contrast in the shadows below them, very nice and subtle. And we're essentially just framing this image up here, where we're cutting out the trees and we're cutting it off at about this point here. And we're not including that or that much of the sky, and it's just a square image. But I'll show you what I actually captured on the camera, and I think I'm gonna walk back to those boys, see if I can capture anything on the way, but if not, maybe I'll break out the tripod, and I got no idea what their plans are for Blue Arrow, but maybe I'll try and find something, but I don't have anything in mind at the moment, so we'll go see what we can find. Hope you guys enjoy the image. Just ran up the hill and found another composition just beside the boys that I don't think they've seen. Well, they probably haven't because it's completely abstract. But there's just some nice light, swerving, a curling pattern. I'll actually show you this one on the back of the camera because it's a bit hard to explain with me just talking about it because it's a bit layered. So what I'm looking at here, I'll brighten it up for you guys, is just this nice curving pattern that you see in the sand. And there's a nice layer in front of that one there. We have this dark section poking into the top of the scene and just the sky as well. Hopefully we're gonna get some nice sunset color in that. And we're gonna make the sand look nice and blue, I think. Really nice and cold image. So we'll capture this one. I promise it's gonna look better than that preview because I am both very out of breath, very tired, but doing my best. Hope you guys enjoy the image. I'll throw it up for you now and we'll catch up with the boys. Alrighty guys, and I think with that, after I've shown you those images, interesting sound. And with those images done, I reckon it's time to call it for this video, guys. It's been long enough. I'd imagine this video is probably, I'm gonna guess, half an hour long at this point. That's my guess. Probably will be right. Might even be over. But anyway, really hope you guys enjoyed the video. It was awesome to get back to Stockton and actually be able to make a video here and show you some of the images and the amazing dunes that are here. Such a cool spot. And I reckon I'm definitely gonna be back sometime soon, hopefully. But you never know. You never know. So with that being said, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.